thing.
7-year-old BJ Upton dead in Mecklenburg County while Upton was driving on a hilly stretch of road. His truck was hit by another truck heading in the opposite direction, crossed over the center line and crashed into him. Upton's family says that other truck was a Carolina Squad and believe that modification played a big role in the deadly outcome, including impacting the other driver's visibility and how the two trucks collided. Now, the Virginia State Police say they are investigating to see whether or not modifications were a contributing factor. Now, a Carolina Squat is a modification to a truck that raises up the front end higher than the lower end. And since then, the family has tried to get this banned in Virginia. It's something North Carolina lawmakers banned last year, and South Carolina is looking at in their current legislative session. Now, a bill that would have addressed this failed last week, as it also included other items lawmakers didn't approve of. So this week, a new bill was introduced that would ban most vehicles from the road that had been modified to raise the front bumper 4 inches or higher than the rear bumper. And again, passed by a Senate committee in the last hour. And they also added an emergency clause. So if it clears the General Assembly and is signed by Governor Glenn Youngkin, it would take effect immediately rather than having to wait for July 1st. We spoke with the family of Upton and one of the lawmakers behind this push prior to today's vote.
And by passing this bill, that is one way to ensure that here in Virginia, somebody else's life won't be lost due to a Carolina spotted truck. And I think we have lost one too many lives when we lost BJ's to that.
I think everybody saw the tragedy and nobody wants to see that continue. So I hope that we will rally around this legislation to get these vehicles off Virginia's highways.
Now, having cleared a committee, it goes to the full Senate. After that, it passed, it would go to the House and pass there to Governor Glenn Youngkin.
Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, but the infamous Carolina Squat is coming to an end, and it's not anything that happens in the gym.
Yeah, and it's not a dance either. It is your car doing this. It's a popular car modification, you call it. You probably have seen it on trucks, someplace around here in South Carolina, even on SUVs. But Governor Henry McMaster has now signed a bill banning the Carolina Squad. That happened earlier this week.
Becky Buds has the story.
Earlier this month, lawmakers voted overwhelmingly to ban this style of modifying a truck. It comes 2 years after a pedestrian in Myrtle Beach was killed after being hit by one. Most people say they know one when they see one.
They look like they're towing an invisible trailer.
Commonly called Carolina Squat trucks, they're vehicles with the front end raised higher than the back. And they'll soon be banned under a bill recently signed into law by Governor Henry McMaster. Law enforcement agencies have been in favor of banning the Squat, with officers saying it makes it difficult for drivers to see what's ahead of them.
It's contributed to some wrecks that we've had. Again, just when you look at it and you see how the driver's looking up in the air, they can't see anything low down.
First violations of the law will result in a $100 fine. A second offense is $200, and a third will lead to a $300 fine and the driver having their license suspended for a year.
It's an education thing. I think once everybody hears that they're illegal, I'm hoping that they'll just go ahead and fix it themselves.
At Hound Dog 4x4, owner Joey Lemon says the team doesn't modify squatted trucks.
We've probably fixed over a dozen trucks between transmission issues, headlight issues, and rear end issues, and getting them back level. Or
he adds because of the angles, the insides of the car wear down a lot faster, resulting in costly repairs.
The transmissions, they're not designed to operate front end of it higher than the rear end. The pumps don't pick up the fluid enough. It ends up burning up clutches or your gears in the transmission, and it just doesn't operate well.
The law will take effect in about 180 days. Reporting at the State House, Becky Buds, News 19 WLTX.
See, it's not even good for your car. Why would you do it? North Carolina and Virginia have already enacted similar bans.
At the State House now, a newly signed law will ban the Carolina squat. That's a popular truck modification in South Carolina. First violations of the law will result in a $100 fine, a second offense $200, and a third $300. But the driver at that point will have their license suspended for a year. Many auto shops in the area telling us tonight they do not modify squat trucks because they are not safe.
It does. I really hope it kind of stops this because it's really a pain to drive down it at nighttime. I mean, just the headlights, you can't lower a headlight enough and adjust it enough to get it to where it's safe to drive and see what you're doing, and make it safe for your oncoming traffic that aren't blinded by your headlights.
The Carolina squat law takes effect in about 6 months from now. By the way, North Carolina and Virginia have similar laws on the books.